Hello everyone, welcome. In this video, let's talk about how to properly approach the two-space enclosure. And as we mentioned in the previous video, the move is right here at number 6. So first of all, the direction usually matters, right? So this setup is what you'll see in most games because as we mentioned before, it's kind of rare for black to make an enclosure and number 5, leaving the left side open, right? Because number 6 becomes the direction that black wants to go to. But if black makes this enclosure at number 5, then white can get to the left side first. So you're not going to see this very often, at least with competent and knowledgeable amateurs. So most of us will see this opening by black. So if we want to approach this enclosure, we can do it right away at number 6. And this is probably the best move white has. Again, the idea is not to take over the corner territory. That's very hard to do. The point is to say number 5 can stop right here, and number 6 is here to contest the left side. Right? So that's the primary purpose. And again, as we mentioned before, if black makes any of these moves, then number 6 and 7 is a great exchange for white. Right? It's a beneficial exchange for white. Right? And playing this kick is not a good idea because the corner, there's still moves for white to make. So number 7 is definitely not correct. These will just be a little too slow. What about this? This is also rare, this pressing attachment. So again, the whole point is for white to build a base on the left side. Right? Of course, black can keep playing toward the center with 7 and 9, but again, how do you even protect the corner? If you play at number 11, then the corner territory is reduced, right, by these moves by white. So number 7 is rare. So the most common two options for black at this point, number 1 is to simply play away, right? Usually when the board is still empty, you want to play away. And number 2, if you want to play a little more aggressively, you can play this one-space pincer. This is the best. Some people might consider two-space pincer, but the conclusion is that the one-space pincer is the best because it puts the maximum pressure on number 6, as we'll see in a little bit. So let's talk about what happens when black plays away. Actually, the moves for white will be very similar, but with the pincer at C10 here, it will make a little bit of a difference for some of these patterns. So what's white's next move? And that is this attachment. We saw this move in the previous video, right? It's very hard to pull off without number 6, without a stone helping on the left side. If you go here right away. So now black has 3 choices. One is right here. This is relatively peaceful. Again, white can just take sente. This is a pretty good exchange for white already. Or white can play a jump. And black needs to connect to number 5, right? This is the disadvantage to playing number 5. You're just a little too far from the corner. And then white can try to play something on the outside. Of course, sometime down the line, black can try to start a fight. But maybe just save that for later. Right? So again, white stones are very light. Number 8 should be sacrificed at this point. Number 10, right? This is just trying to stop black from very easily developing on the upper side and on the left side. So this is fine. Playable for both sides. A little slow for black. So more often, we're going to see these 2 moves, hunting on the inside and the outside. So on the inside, will be something like this, right? So black will need to connect after these exchanges. This doesn't really work. Giving out number 3, or even with this move, right? Starting this ko, this is a little too big, right? If white wins the ko, then the corner is white's territory. So number 13, this is not okay. This also doesn't work because white can still connect back and white has this bending move, very big. So black can only connect at number 13. And now white has two choices. One is to stand down here, which puts a lot more pressure on the corner, right? Because there's this monkey jump that just reduces black's eye space significantly, right? So if white plays at number 14, this is still very much connected to the outside with number 6, so there's nothing to worry about. And now black must make sure the corner is alive, or not put any undue pressure, right? Black does not want to crawl on the third line here, right? These exchanges are not great for the side that's playing on the third line, right? So black's best move is to play number 15, and this will develop into a fight where whites can also just try to sacrifice these stones, right? Playing something like this on the outside, right? So this is also playable for white. The idea after all these moves is that these two white stones can be sacrificed very happily, I think, by white. These are not very valuable, and white is better off sacrificing them and getting an influence on the outside. So this is why these Josekis are a bit advanced, because it involves a lot of sacrificing, right? You play these moves, but these stones are actually pretty light. They can be given away. You can safely play away and allow your opponents to capture them, no big deal, right? So that's might be a little hard for beginners to grasp, but you'll get there. Another way for white to play is number 14. So this move puts much less pressure on black's corner, because number 16 is the best way you can reduce the corner eye space, and number 17 still guarantees plenty of eye space to make a living shape, right? So that's the difference between white's number 14 here and this standing down here. So number 15, very, very, very important, right? Staying on the fourth line, and now threatening this push and cut sometime down the line when you need it. You don't play it right away. And now white should play on the fourth line here. Right? This is very important. White should not really worry about something like this, right? Capturing this stone is really big, and as we said, number 8 and 12 can be given away. 10 and 14 are not very big because it was supposed to be part of the corner territory anyway. And if white gets this shape on the left side, this is really good. This is really, really good for white. So black cannot play this push and cuts unless, right, these 3 stones are in danger. So also if black push here, these 4 stones will be very short on liberties. So black will have to jump out first. And once again, white should just give up these 2 stones. Right? If you play here, if you try to pull them out, then it's hard for them to be the base, right? And it might be under attack. And it's hard for white to attack this group because of this push and cut, right? Black can always connect back very easily when it wants to. So it's not wise for white to engage in a fight. If the upper side is open, then white can split the center like this. If the upper side is not, then white can start building on the left side with number 18. So this is what could happen. Of course, if there are already stones on the upper side or on the left side, things could get a little more complicated. But this is the basic idea with number 8 and number 10, right? With black's hane here on the inside. What about the outside? Now, white has 2 choices. One is to play here at the 3-3 point. And of course, white has to make sure that this ladder does not favor black, right? Because if it favors black, then black will just capture all these stones. But most likely, right, this diagonal corner will be occupied by white in this situation. So this is playable. And now black will connect at number 15 after these 2 Atari moves at number 11 and 13. So now what happens is that number 10 is dead, right? It is surrounded, but it has a lot of aji, right? It has a lot of energy left that could potentially threaten these two black groups. So black will want to spend extra moves on the corner to take care of number 10, and in the meantime, white can play a couple of moves on the outside to get influence on the outside, right? So one way for white to play is right here. If it's something like this, of course, black is breaking out with number 19. But the good thing is that white can enclose black very easily, right? Black cannot come out. Right? You can't really come out and fight because of number 10. So no matter what you do here on the outside, black still owes a move here on the inside. Right? So this is not going to be great for black, or at least it won't be very harsh if black tries to attack white. And with this, white has already moved to the upper side, which I think is a strategic success, right? Another move is to play here, this mending move, and number 16. And black can try this move, but there's a cutting point right here. And if it's something like this, black still needs 2 moves to take care of number 10. And white can play at number 22. I think this will capture these 2 stones. There's no way for them to escape, at least right now, but of course, black can play something like this and still try to come into the left side. So this is playable for both sides. Or black can just try to take care of number 10 this way. And what happens now is that, I think, yeah, this will just go back to the pattern we just saw. Yeah, so black can play right here as well, right? And you cannot push down, right? Black needs to be a little careful. This is why things will get complicated, right? This way, this is not as good for black. So that is why black needs 2 moves to take care of number 10, and then white captures number 5 and 17 on the outside. So that's the idea with number 16. Another move for white is to play right here, extending at number 10. And now black must occupy the 3-3 point to make sure white doesn't come into the corner and build eye space. And now white plays the honey. Black, again, prevents white from coming into the corner. And white can play at number 14, tiger's mouth. Really good move, right? Because it threatens to gain eye space with number 16. So black must play the Atari. And now white should play away, right? This is what most books or teachers will tell you to do, but it is a confusing thing for amateur players, not just beginners. I think a lot of Q players will be wondering, why should I play away after just having played 4 moves here in the corner? Well, the idea, once again, is to have some potential for eye space here on the left side, and to have something like this, right? Just this honey breaking out, kind of isolating number 5. Of course, the problem here is that black can break out very easily. It's very hard for white to contain black. And if I place this way, then these stones will all be dead. Right? But the idea here is for white to jump out here in preparation. And now black really owes a move here. Right? If black plays away, again, if it's something like this, then this will be really great for white, because white is building a wall on the outside. And black can only play something like this. Right? And white will get a wall. If black plays here, then again, white will build this wall in sente. So this is even less acceptable for black. Black is very much over-concentrated here on this corner by capturing these stones. So this is actually white's objective. It's actually to leave it here and threaten to break out this way. Breaking out right here, right? Where if it's something like this, then number 5 is cut off, and the setup is worth it, right? Because it allows white to cut off number 5. So that's actually the idea, I think. It's not to contest the corner, it's not to try to build two eyes right away because it's hard, right? It's hard to try to build two real eyes on the left side right away. So connecting here, it's a little slow, right? It's just a little slow. It's okay. It's not the worst move on the board. It's just a little slow. It will allow black to play here. And white might come under pressure, right? Of course, the most proactive move is to cut here and start this fight, which will get complicated. Black is settled on the corner, and white might come under attack. But again, these three black stones can also be attacked at this point. So yeah, that's the idea, I think, very briefly. Of course, there are more complicated variations out there, but as a review, let's look at what happens when black has this pincer stone on the left side. So for this Joseki, white no longer has this standing down, right? Because black can enclose white very easily with number 15, with number 7's help right here, right? So white's only move in this situation is to keep crawling, right? Like this. So this will go back to something we already saw, but with number 7's help right here. So this way, this is playable, again, for both sides. Whites might want to fight sometime down the line, might want to split the center, right? So white still has choices. But again, the bottom line is that these two stones are not important for white to save. What's important is this group jumping out at number 18 and potentially, putting some pressure on the left side against this black group. So that's that. What about this? This is actually a little harder to pull off, I would say. Sorry. If white plays here, then again, if you look at number 7, then it's really threatening to capture number 6 and 18 here. So it might make a difference in this fight, in this calculus. Again, the idea I think is similar here. Play something like this. This will get a little complicated, right? Number 7 will make this fight a little tougher for whites. So that's why I would not recommend number 10 in this situation for most amateurs. But this will still work. This still works. White can just jump out, right? Again, white is threatening this series of moves, which I think could be very effective. Yeah, something like this. So white, in this case, white builds the wall in gote. So black has center in this situation. But of course, white can come back and capture these three stones whenever it wants to. But most likely, this will be an endgame move because I don't think the wall will be in need of eyes anytime soon. So this is what might happen. Once again, number 7 just puts some more pressure on the white group. That's the general idea. And in practice, I don't think white should be that afraid in this situation, as long as you just jump out. Right, and there are many ways for whites to start building a base on the left side when it wants to. But the key thing, once again, is to jump out, to be able to jump out. And that's why white also has a choice besides this attachment, and that is to simply jump out after number 7. So if black plays away, then this will make this fight much tougher for black, actually, in this situation. Or white also can stand down here because there's no way for black to enclose white on the left side. Right? So number 8 is an even better setup for number 10, this attachment. So in this case, black might want to play the kick. And this is something you need to learn because normally we say you just stand down here, right, when black kicks on the 3rd line here, and you have a jump on the 5th line. You just stand down here, make sure number 7 doesn't connect. But here in this situation, white can actually play the hane. This is a forcing move. Black must block here at number 11. And now white has this move. Right? These are really, I think, AI inventions. The idea is for white to enclose black this way. Of course, you're not giving away, you're not contesting the corner territory, but just building a wall on the outside like this is pretty good according to AI, right? But of course, for amateur players, the challenge is always how to make use of this beautiful wall on the outside. But this is what might want to build, right? It's not contesting the corner territory, it's just building a nice wall. And it really prevents black from easily developing on the upper side and on the left side, because number 7, once again, is still cut off. So, of course, there could be variations. Black could get to this first. Could be something like this, right? Potentially gets a little complicated, or if black connects here. But again, the idea is for white to connect with number 12, right? Is to build a wall and also threatening, again, to reduce the corner territory if black does not add a move here. So this is something that you can learn, and it's a pretty neat move, I think, against the 2-space enclosure with number 8 and 10 and 12, right? Something to remember. So I think that's a pretty good place to stop. Of course, this is potentially very complicated. Always happy to return to this topic and do a more in-depth video, but I think I showed you enough patterns for you to go through and digest. And in the next video, we'll talk about something I mentioned in the previous video, and that is approaching from the other side, either this move or this move. So please stay tuned. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Good luck, and thank you for watching.